Hey, yo, what up, what up, what up, what up? How y'all feeling? Man. All right, so we're going to talk about a few things today. It's not going to be a super long video. The NBA starts today, huh? Today's the start of the NBA season, so we're going to talk a little NBA, talk a little Lakers, talk a little Brooklyn Nets, talk a little Kyrie Irving, you know what I mean? We're going to do that. But before all of that, I just want to say that, not just this video or my channel, but with any channel. I mean, going in, watching a video, or going into the video and not hitting the like button, it's kind of like not tipping a waiter. You know what I mean? It's like people put a lot into this content. It's not easy. Putting yourself out there. The like button is free. All that is that you just tap the like button once, not twice. Just tap it one time, and it's the right. I feel like it's it's the right thing to do, right? If I'm saying something that you really dislike, go ahead and jab your way in a couple times, flick that jab out there, and then overhand right the dislike button, right? So you have a choice, but give me something, right? Give these YouTube content creators something, because it's not as easy as you may think, and especially if you are a content creator, hit the like button. You already know what time it is. With that said, let's get into it, man. NBA starts today. The NBA is back. Well, the NBA ain't back, but this league is back. This basketball league is back, right? Man, I used to be a huge Laker fan. I said that in the other video. I mean, I go back to Magic Johnson, Kareem, James Worthy, Byron Scott, Michael Cooper, AC Green, Michael Thompson, those guys, right? That's when I first started watching basketball. Watching those guys go up against the Boston Celtics and, Detroit Pistons, and like, that's pretty much when I started watching basketball. So I'm a Laker. I've always been a Laker fan until now. Not a Laker fan. Haven't been a Laker fan in the past few years. Something about the way Jeannie Buss runs the team, it just doesn't feel very Lakerish. You know what I mean? Like, it feel like the Lakers, the real Lakers, kind of went away when Jeannie Buss took over. Not necessarily the son. I forget his name, but it's still even the son. Don't get me wrong, he's making some dumb moves and dumb plays, but it still felt like the Lakers when he was there. After Dr. Buss died and everything, and I think was it Jim Buss? I'm not sure, but it still felt like a Lakers team. But ever since she's come in, I mean, she just has basically turned the team over to one player, and this player is, I mean, he just joined the team and he's like already the GM, and I just don't get it, and it's really kind of setting this team up for a huge fall, and I'm gonna tell you why. This team is ancient, okay? They are very old, and this is what LeBron does to teams. It's like a vacuum. He brings in all these veterans, all these old players that have no value anywhere else, but he likes them, and they can play his system where they just stand around the 3-point line and shoot jumpers and let him drive the lane, and they get out of the lane. There's no post-up game. He doesn't like dumping the ball down to anybody. It's one style of play. And if you're a real basketball fan, if you know kind of a little bit of X's and O's, you'll see that he plays the same system no matter where he goes. It's a drive and kick system where he has the ball, he makes all the decisions, and everybody stands around and see who he wants to pass the ball to, and you're either going to make the shot or miss it, but that's your new game. Chris Bosh was a phenomenal player, and don't get me wrong, he was good in Miami, but he was basically turned into a pick and roll, just, hey, I'm going to stand here, wait for LeBron to pass me the ball, and I got to make this jump shot. That's what he does to people. He turns you into a jump shooter, taking all your aggressiveness away. You're not free to create. That's his job. He does all the creating now. You understand? So, not a Laker fan anymore. And I feel like this current Laker team will implode. I feel like they're not even set up to win. I don't think. Like, they don't have any jump shooters. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these guys that think you have to come down and shoot a three. I think the 3-point shot has kind of fucked the game up a little bit. But it's a difference between shooting a 3-pointer and having a jump shot. I'm just talking about having a jump shot. I'm not talking about racing to the 3 line. They don't have good shooters. They could have went out and got Buddy Hield. LeBron wanted Westbrook. And let's not make a mistake about it. LeBron is the GM of this team. Okay, so I don't like when his fans and sycophants, like, they say, well, LeBron is just a player. And, well, wait a minute. You can't have it both ways. Like, one minute you're saying how he's powerful and it's good that he has all this power, and you're bragging because, he's so powerful and everything. And then the next minute you're saying he's just a player. He's not just a player, okay? Nobody makes that team without LeBron giving the okay. Nobody gets on the Lakers without LeBron being okay with it, okay? That's a fact. Like, and if he doesn't want you on the team, you're gone. LeBron is the GM, okay? I could make an argument that he's the fucking president of the team, right? I don't hear anything from, what's that guy's name? I forget his name, but that's the thing. I shouldn't be forgetting his name. Kobe's boy, Jesus. I could make an argument that LeBron is this guy's boss. It's some weird Hollywood shit, right? But the point is, this Lakers team is going to crash and burn, okay? This Lakers team is going to crash and burn. You got Westbrook, turnover machine. You got LeBron, turnover machine. And they have identical games. Like, these guys are going to be... these guys are going to be beefing with each other over stats, right? AD, he's in limbo. I have no idea. Like, he knows that he's the best player on the team, but he's not. He's kind of a 10 man, right? So, I just don't think they're set up for success. I think it's gonna look bad early. I think it's gonna look bad throughout, and I think it's gonna look bad late. Now, it's gonna be interesting to see how many strings the league and LeBron can pull to kind of finagle things in their favor. We'll see what trades can be forced. How many teams can be forced to give up their best players, for whatever LeBron wants to give away. We'll see how many other teams GMs will be fired for not giving LeBron what he wants, right? We'll have to see about that. So before I get too far on that, LeBron builds his own teams. Even in the All-Star game, this guy just can't show up and play ball. He can't ever just show up and play ball. It's like he has to have full and total control. And it's sickening, bro. It's absolutely sickening. Like, I missed when the NBA kind of stood for something and, like, this is the way we do it, and we don't change. They didn't change for Michael Jordan. They didn't change for Magic. They didn't change for Michael Jordan. They didn't change for Bird. They didn't change for Kobe. They didn't change for Shaq. Nobody. But you know why they didn't? Because those guys were confident in their game. They didn't feel the need to work things in their favor and, I gotta make my own team. Like, it's the fucking all-star game. You show up, you play ball, you show out, and that's it. You go home. But when you're not confident, you got to pull all these strings. You got to have this player and that player, and you got to be in total control, right? So that you can, what? Control the narrative. Because, like, there was a time when the league was on a fair playing field. Now, I thought, even in Jordan's heyday, I thought he got away with some calls, but that was like the extent of it. Like, you couldn't, if you touched Jordan, they're gonna call that touch foul. You know, meanwhile he's digging his forearm in your back. Okay. And maybe that was the beginning of it. Maybe I shouldn't brush that over, right? But this shit that we're seeing now, it's really sickening. It really is, you know, and this is why people root against this guy. You know, this is why people, like, I've been a Laker fan since I've been watching basketball, but I can't support this guy because it's all fake. You know, he's not really a ball player. He's not. It's something different. So I think this Lakers team will struggle. I think some heavy strings, heavy lifting is going to have to take place in order to get them into the playoffs, and definitely to get them into like a championship mode, because as constructed, this team is shit. Okay. And I love it. I absolutely love it because, hey, you have exactly who you want. You got all your guys, right? You got all your guys and shit. You were just on, like, a month ago, 2 months, you were just on the internet saying, yeah, don't talk about my team, my age, or whatever. He's basically pissed off because people talking about how old his team is. Every time he makes these little veiled threats, he never comes through. The guy is not. He's almost like he's like a bitter chick, you know? Like, he says all these things, but he doesn't do the thing. Like, if Jordan opened his mouth, you best believe he was going to back up what he said. Right? So if Jordan, he never did the shit because he's just not emotional like that. Like, if Jordan's team loses a game, you better believe you're getting crushed the next night. Not because he said anything. He didn't feel the need to say anything. He said what he had to say in the locker room and at practice. He doesn't have to come out and defend things. Right? So if Jordan loses 2 games in a row, oh man, he's going to put up 50 or 60 points on the third night and you're getting crushed. You better believe it. There was no need to talk. There was no need to threaten. Right? But every time this guy opens his mouth, it's like he never can back up what he says. Right? I'm in playoff mode now. I'm in playoff. Like, and you missed the playoffs. Right? Like, every time, no matter what he says, like, he says it and then it doesn't happen. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. But before I get out of here, and I think the thing is, the other thing that I didn't mention, he's going to be chasing stats. He's trying to climb up the scoring ladder. So he's not even thinking about winning. Like, his thing, he's going to put up a lot of points this year. Right? Or that's his goal. His goal is to put up a lot of points. He's trying to climb up the list to make certain narrative cases. Because winning, you know, we don't want to do that. Like, that's really what you're on the court to do. You know, most men are on the court. We want to win the game, right? But when your goal is like all these things outside of the sport, you know, how can I circumvent this guy or that guy, oh, stats, right? If I have my stats are this much better than, if Magic Johnson wanted your stats, dude, he would crush you. If Magic Johnson wanted to score 40 a night, Magic Johnson could score 40 a night. Right? Magic Johnson shot about 90% from the free throw line. If he wanted to score 40, he could do it. Magic Johnson had a great jump shot. Quiet as kept. He had a great jump shot. A solid jump shot. Say what you want. Go watch the game. Right? And I'm just picking Magic out. Like, if Larry Bird, if he wanted to get your stats, well, his career was shortened by the back injury, but yeah, like, these guys were infinitely better than this guy because they played to win. They got the numbers within the mode of the game without trying to do everything, without having the ball in their hands all the time. Running an offense, right? Running plays and just balling out. That's how they did it. Now I'm going to switch gears real quick a little bit because I feel the need to preface everything I'm saying, okay? I don't like Nick Wright. I've never really agreed with anything Nick Wright says. I don't like Nick Wright's face. I don't like hearing Nick Wright speak. But I have to agree with Nick Wright, and it pains me to do so. But I have to agree with him on and you know how I feel about Kyrie. I've made several videos about what he's doing. I love what he's doing. I love the fact that he's standing up on his square. That's the epitome of, man, hey, if he never plays again because of this, I lose no respect for the guy. In fact, I'll probably gain respect for him, because it's something to be said for sacrifice. It's important for you to know this is a basketball conversation right now, okay? Basketball. I agree with everything Kyrie Irving is doing. Everything. I agree with everything. Like, a lot of people say, well, he did say the thing about flat earth. I agree with everything Kyrie Irving said. You can do what you want with that. See, I do research, okay? But that's neither here nor there. As for basketball, as it pertains to the Brooklyn Nets, I think they would be better with a Ben Simmons than a Kyrie Irving on this team. Now, I was saying that like going back to last season. I'm like, you don't need two dribbling machines. You don't need two dribbling machines. You don't need 3 30-point scorers. Like, for a winning championship basketball team, I actually don't think that's a formula for winning. I think it's top heavy. And we can't, like, people look at last year, what happened to Brooklyn. You can't look at last year. Like, guys were hurt. That's different. Like, if one of those, if either Harden or Irving were able to play, like, Brooklyn probably wins the championship. Okay, so it's not like, I just don't think you need all that firepower on the court. Now, if one of those guys was like could lock somebody up, maybe. But, KD, out of the three of them, KD is probably the best on defense. And KD he's a good defensive player. He's not as a rim protector, you know what I mean? But he's not locking anybody down. Like, he can't lock down Giannis. He can't. And I don't, different body types, different And maybe he needs to get better at that, at his defense. That's part of the game. I don't give passes. And KD is my guy, right? But I just don't think, I think a Ben Simmons on that team takes them over the top. He's willing to pass the ball. I think he can work with being on a team with James Harden and KD. You're going to work on what you need to work on. If they say you need to fucking shoot the ball, those guys they have the cachet to help him. I think those guys have the cachet to help a guy like Ben Simmons. So I like the trade. I think Kyrie on Philly makes them instantly better. I mean, I just think it works, I don't know how Kyrie feels about that. I don't know, right? I don't really care. Like, this is just a basketball conversation, But yeah, like, I think that trade is great. I think that trade is great, because you could put a Ben Simmons on Giannis. Oh yeah, you could. And I'm not saying he would lock him down, but he would definitely slow him down. He's athletically, he can match up with him. And keep KD fresh so he's not getting banged around on the inside, right? Ben Simmons is not a bum. He had a bad playoff series last year. That's it. And we know what Kyrie can do. But do you really need a Harden, dribbling machine and a Kyrie Irving dribbling machine? Both guys can score. You got KD who can score. Do you really need that? Are you going to score 200 points a game? No. Like, if you can make that work and score 200 a game and just outrace the other teams, fine. But that's not basketball. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Like, in a basketball, you need more cohesion. You need more diverse skill sets on the team. So, I guess I better cut it short, because I got a couple of tyrants in there who are gonna be wanting their pancakes, right? Gotta go. Hey, hit the like button. Thanks. Peace.